know why I did the today? Because it needed to happen. The Raptors should have won this basketball game. They didn't shoot the ball extremely well, but they got shafted by the officials yet again. I despise talking this way about officials just for the fact that they're human beings. It's hard to do a job like that when everything's so fast-paced. But when they're utterly blind out there, how can you figure out, how can this happen? You look at yesterday. The reason we didn't talk about much of the referees is because we won, even though the free throws were lopsided like crazy. But today was the same flippin' story, except they tried to do it down the stretch and in the final minutes of this basketball game. Let's get into this. First quarter, back and forth. Raptors down 2 at the end of 1 off of a Chris Paul buzzer beater 3 to end the first quarter. Second quarter, Raptors +2, 27-25, or 47-47 at halftime. Okay, that's all right. The score is low, but you're tied. You're still in this basketball game on the second night of a back-to-back. You're doing all right. Short-handed as well. It's okay. Third quarter, the Raptors come out. They score 33. They give up 29. They were up by 8 at one point, but that dwindles down, and then they end up taking a lead. So you're still finding ways to take the lead. You're up by 4 after 3 quarters of play. In the fourth quarter, the Raptors offense, well, it wasn't great. However, as I've said before, and I've said already today, the officials take hold of this basketball game. Just over a minute to play. Raptors up by 1. Chris Paul looks like he's going to go up for his shot. Lowry gets a hand on the ball, and before Chris Paul's feet even get back to the ground, Lowry's hand is off the ball. Chris Paul has possession, then starts dribbling again. If I'm not mistaken, that's either A, a jump ball, or B, it's a double dribble, it's a turnover, it should be Raptor ball. Everyone in the stands knew it, everybody on the Raptors knew it, everybody on the OKC, I'm assuming, knew it, and there's 3, and I'm not talking 1, not talking 2, I'm talking 3 flipping officials are staring right at the play and have no damn clue what they're doing. Because instead, they allow a play on, Chris Paul knocks down the shot, gives OKC the lead. A little bit earlier on, Chris Boucher puts some guy in an absolute poster, makes him look stupid. Problem, there's an absolute garbage load of contact on that. Arms, I think both of the guys' arms was all over Boucher's arms and face, yet nope, clean play on. And yet, let me add again, the free throws. Before the last 2 by Fred VanVleet, these free throws were 23-10. A team that drives, a team that cuts to the basket, a lot. How do they get to the free throw line 10 times? It's embarrassing to watch. How can we look at this game and say, man, that was a hard-fought game. It was a good, solid basketball game. Officials were good. You can't. You just can't look at a game like this and say, man, the officials play well. The second, I swear they had a conference, and they talked to the officials in yesterday's game against Boston, and they're like, all right, so what do we need to do to screw over the Raptors? Okay, you need to do this. Especially in the late game, if it's a tight game, you need to really hammer home, screwing them around. And that's exactly what happened. Now, obviously, that probably didn't end up happening, but it feels like that's the case. Because in back-to-back nights, the Raptors get shafted to the free throw line, and they get shafted late in basketball games. Now, yesterday, they didn't get shafted because they were up by so much for the entirety of this basketball game. But you're on the second night of a back-to-back. You had to travel. If I'm not mistaken, they did not play yesterday, did OKC? No, they didn't play yesterday. So they were already in Toronto, kicking their feet up, relaxing. Really, meanwhile, the Raptors are battling it out against the Boston Celtics, still not getting favored by the referees. Then you got to travel home, playing second night of a back-to-back a little bit earlier than you did yesterday, 6 o'clock tip-off, and you're still getting shafted by the officials. Where does it end? It's embarrassing. And if these officials in the NBA are trying to be subtle about it, man, they're pretty damn bad at that. Because it's very obvious. And Nick Nurse got teed up again. He leads the league in technicals. I wonder why. Because it's pretty damn obvious. I don't know, guys. It's embarrassing. Look, were there some great things that happened today for the Raptors? Yeah. You had 5 guys in double figures. Maybe my math is off. You guys know it is. But they had 5 guys in double figures. Lowry and VanVleet had 20 combined, or 20 each. Bach had a double-double, 20 and 14. McCaw, look, continuously over the last couple games, it's been great. He had 13. Terrence Davis had 11 and 6 boards and 3 assists on 4 of 8 shooting. He was electric, played 27 minutes and closed out the basketball game. And yeah, could the Raptors have won this game late? Yeah, Terrence Davis did have a wide open three. You know, you had some opportunities late in this game. Patrick McCaw had his foot on the line there earlier in the fourth quarter. Could have ended up making a 2-point game. Instead, it was a 3-point game because his foot was on the line, right? The small things did hurt as well. However, you're not getting any help. You need an even matchup, an even game. Like, it's absurd to watch. You know, I'm watching guys, and I'm looking at Lowry and Van Vliet especially, because those guys drive like there's no tomorrow. They got to the free throw line 8 times combined, all right? Steven Adams, the big guy, had 6, and, you know, you do the math, guys. Chris Paul and Gilgeous had 10. By the way, the Canadian kid, he is something else, that man. He had 32 in the game. Chris Paul flashed back, almost had a triple-double, 25 and 11. But when you're not getting any help, guys, it's so hard to win games. And you're on the second night of a back-to-back. You're shorthanded. It was a hard-fought game. They lost by 1 point. It happens. Does it suck? Yeah, it really does. But you got to take this and move on from it. You got to hope to God people get healthy soon. And you got to hope to God the NBA wakes the hell up and gets things sorted out with these officials. And I'm not talking make it worse. I'm talking make this thing more an even matchup, because that's what every team in the NBA deserves. Whether you're north of the border or the south of the border, it shouldn't matter. Now, whether it does to the NBA and it's just happening tonight, I don't know. But from what it looks like, it looks pretty obvious to me. That's just what I got to say. Now, let's get to some stats here. Raptors and OKC both shot 42% from the field. Raptors had 3 more shots, 35 for 83. They shot 34 for 80. From three, the Raptors were plus 5 in that category, 15 to 10 in made threes. So you guys can do some math there. That is 15 plus 15 on the 3-point shots. But, as we've all talked about, the free throw line is the big factor. They got to the line 23 times. Raptors only got there 12. We were 12 of 12, 100% from the line. They were 20 for 23, 87%. That's all I'm going to say. Rebounding, identical, 43-43. Offensive boards, 8-8. They were very even. Assists, the Raptors only had 20 assists. Again, the ball was sticking a bit, but they weren't shooting the ball extremely well in this one as well. 7 steals to their 8, 2 blocks to their 7, 14 turnovers for the Raptors. They had 16. Points of the paint, Raptors were -6 in this one. I mean, a lot of them were hard-hit fouls that weren't being called, but we're not going to get into that kind of stuff anymore. 42-36, second chance points were 13-11 in favor of OKC. Fast break, Raptors won that category 24-19, as they usually do. But it's the issues. The Raptors had 2 technicals in this game, and you know guys are getting angry when things are happening on a consistent basis, and you knew it was happening yesterday, and you're now seeing it again today, and people are getting sick and tired of it. And I don't blame them. I don't blame the Raptors. I don't blame Nick Nurse for getting teed up all this time. I don't blame him at all, because you know why? It's well-deserved. The NBA needs to find a way to smarten this thing up and figure it out. As Dr. Phil would say, is it working for you? Maybe it is for their standards, but for us, no. You got to figure this thing out and get a game that's even. I'm not saying make garbage calls to even up the free throw attempts, but I'm saying make calls that are blatantly flippin' obvious. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for a guy who gets touched on the finger to get a free throw because, we lost free throws by 1, it should be even. No, I'm not saying that kind of stuff. I'm saying the things that are blatantly obvious when a guy, absolutely body checks somebody, or what happened today, the double dribble, or the Chris Boucher dunk that should have been an and one. Those are blatantly obvious calls that officials are staring at. There's a guy always under the bucket. How does Boucher dunk? Well, he's at the bucket, so the guy must see something. When Chris Paul had the ball, everybody's eyes on the ball, really, for the most part. So, you got to be watching the ball, and it's clearly obvious. And it just sucks, man. It really sucks to watch a game end the way this one did today. The way it did. It's just really, really sad because the referees put their stamp on this one. They tried to do it yesterday, failed at that, but they did today, and they got their victory. And it sucks. I hate doing what I've done in this video, yapping the officials, but like I said, when it's blatantly obvious, and it basically just, well, I'm not 100%, but it helps decide a finish of a game, that's not the way it should go. It really isn't the way it should go. Now, we got to find a way to move on to the next one. As the Raptors are on Tuesday night on New Year's Eve, they take on the Cleveland Cavaliers, Scotiabank Arena. If any of those regular guys are back or not, doesn't matter. That should be a win no matter who you throw out there. Heck, you could throw, Matt Thomas with a broken hand out there. They better win that game. 7 o'clock tip-off there at Scotiabank Arena. The Cavaliers actually, not playing bad lately. 5-5 in their last 10 games, but still a team that you should dominate and you should win on your home floor. That's just the way it goes, guys. I mean, look, these guys aren't healthy. No new update on Marc Gasol or Pascal Siakam. We all know Norm was a guy that was he traveled with the team to Boston yesterday, which was great, and it looks like he's kind of in that game time decision mode now because he's listed as out today, which means that they're kind of taking it game by game. I don't know if we need him for the game on New Year's Eve. If they want to get him out there and get him some reps in, then that's totally fine by me because then the Raptors after that on January 2nd have to go to Miami, and you want to have all hands on deck for something like that, even though obviously no Siakam and Gasol are going to be in those games. However, if you can get Norm back, get a game under his belt, great. But if he's not healthy, if he ain't ready to go, don't throw him out there. That's just all there is. We're not playing for December and January. You're playing for April, May, and June. We all know that last year. We learned about that. All right, so yeah, the Raptors lost today. It sucks. The officials were brutal. You guys can go nuts in the comments about that. Please go nuts in the comments because everyone needs to hear it. Everyone needs to see it. Post it all over the NBA Instagram, their Twitter, their YouTube page. Go nuts, guys, because something's going to happen. And it can't. If the Cleveland Cavaliers crushes in free throw attempts, there's clearly something wrong. All right. So guys, that is going to do it for this one. If you guys enjoyed the video and did not enjoy the ending to this ball game, smack that like button. Do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below your thoughts on the game, your thoughts on the video. What were your thoughts on the Raptors play today? What were your thoughts on the officials? Give me in the comments below. What do you think of the young kid, Gilgeous-Alexander, the young Canadian kid? Great looking player. Lots of talent there. And Chris Paul, what do you think of his play and where do you rank him on the all-time list? I want to get your guys' take on these guys because we don't see them too often. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts on them and how this game went down for the Toronto Raptors. All right, so guys, Twitter is down below for myself. Follow up, send me a DM, do all that great stuff. Also, Patreon link is in the description if you guys want to sign up for that. The link is down below. All right, and I will talk to you guys Leafs edition. They won't be playing until, I think it's until Tuesday. Yeah, as they're in Minnesota taking on the Wild in their New Year's Eve celebrations. And as for Anderson and Dubnyk are the expected goaltenders in that game for the Leafs, looking to bounce back after that tough loss yesterday against the Rangers at home. And as for the Raptors, as we talked about, they're looking to bounce back after tonight's tough loss against the Cleveland Cavaliers at Scotiabank Arena. 7 o'clock tip-off there. Pretty much a must-win. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys enjoyed... thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. There we go. We'll talk to you guys then.